Chris Brien here again. Now I want to take this pattern with my feet and play something a bit more, I suppose you could say, contemporary, something you could use more in a band. I know a lot of guys are not going to, because the music they're playing may not require it, but it's fun to do. And if you're teaching or want to become a better player, that stuff's going to get you a lot of students. But if you're playing more like in a top 40 covers band or an original band, and you may want a more. I use these Pingtex cymbals. The reason being I've got my own samples in my TD50, and I just can't stand the Roland rubber cymbals. I can't stand them. And the Zildjian ones are really expensive. And Mr. Zildjian, they're really expensive and they're really noisy. I know they work well, but they're too noisy. And the not the Zildjian ones. What I'm talking about, the DW ones. They're way too expensive, guys. I'm sponsored by a lot of these companies, not those guys, other companies, and it's just too expensive. Even an endorsement price, other companies are with that would be too expensive. So I use these, and I've got my own cymbal samples of the phone. It's okay. It looks nice. It's pink. So I'll play on here 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN, and I'm going to go through the permutations against this pattern so you can see what you need. And this stuff. It's really cool. Now with this pattern, I first learned with just a pattern going here. Being able to learning how to do this is hard because you've got your foot going that way and your hands aren't doing that, and you sort of get confused. I'll do that in the next lessons, but this first I'll go through with this. Again, pretty boring, pretty dry, but extremely effective. If you want results, this works. And people I don't really talk about it much. I just don't think about it. The grips I use, I grew up playing traditional grip. Actually started this way. I started playing that way. Why? Because I had no idea. I'm self-taught. Then I went to this way because I started as a jazz drummer. The first bit I learned was that, because I played In the Mood. Next song I learned was a jazz song called Quiet Breaker by Sammy Nestico. And then I learned, Sing, Sing, Sing. And shortly after that, I worked on Tarantella by Chuck Mangione. So I was a jazz guy. I love jazz. I notice the jazz guys all play like this. I love Max Roach, and he tend to play both ways, but he tend to favour this a lot because he was a mallet player, played xylophone stuff. So I tend to use a mix between German, American, French, like most people, and I spend about, as a child, maybe 3 hours every day on a practice pad, George Reed's Syncopation, what's his name? George Lawrence Stone, Stick Control, like everyone did, Will Coxon book the fancy snare stuff. The reason I'm saying this, have a really relaxed grip. I have no problem. I've done almost 80,000 hours practice. I have no problems with my joints, no tendon problems. It's not hereditary. I don't force it. I don't force things out. So I see a lot of the guys these days just slamming, and it's great. But understand, the drum can only get so loud. Then you just start damaging the drum. Then my words, that's Bill Bruford. So people like Bill Bruford and Dennis Chambers say that, and I think they know what they're talking about. If you want to play loud, great. Danny Carey doesn't even play that loud. He's amazing. So have what's your technique? So I'm playing here 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN, 1 EN, 2 EN, and I'll start now. I'll go through the permutation. So permutation number 1, where do you start? At the beginning. Quarter notes. You know this. So we've got this going. 1 EN, 2 EN, 3. I've got that. Quarter notes left hand. That's pretty self-explanatory. And you can use that as a beat. Okay. Next lesson, I'll go to the 8th notes. Thank you.